Hello. Right, this video is just a beginner's guide from, not a total beginner's guide for DH Hunter on a multi-shot. I have a friend with me in party here. He's new to the game and he's playing multi-shot DH. Basically what to look for here is that he's got some things here that I just want to point out he needs to improve on. Running through just very briefly, because there are other perfectly good guides out there that explains all this, but just to run through briefly what you need to be doing. Okay, the whole point of this build is you pop in Vengeance as soon as it becomes ready, yeah, and you pop in that Vengeance as much as you can. So that really means your cooldown reduction has got to be quite high. It's close to 40%, I think the breakpoint is for it being up 100% of the time. So he's rolled. He's been lucky enough to get a primal with shoulders. I mean, he could have rolled a better roll there. I mean, really, I would have done away with the armor for the cooldown reduction. I don't know what he had there before, but you know, he's missing a lot of life from them shoulders that he possibly could have. So armor would be, in my view, the weaker stat to re-roll to cooldown. The gloves, he had just rolled that to bit. It was all res again. Okay, it's he's got less toughness, but the thing is, if he's in the fight a little bit longer for all that vitality he's gained, that should be a good thing. He had one of the new gems in his helm from the Darkening of Tristan event, which I told him to replace with the diamond, which is indeed reduces the cooldown. So you pop in that Vengeance off a lot more. So your target for the Vengeance is 40% on the details tab in your character. That's what you aim to get, as close as you possibly can to that. Other than that, you know, it's just basically he really wants to get himself an ancient belt with pretty much the same stats. It's important. If the main priority stats include like all res, then obviously there's some that can be a bit limiting. So you always want the secondary stat to be a res of some sort. In this case he's got arcane, which is fine. It's totally fine. I mean, the secondary resistance stat doesn't really matter on the Demon Hunter what type you have. Whereas on the monk you always tend to go for physical. But anyway, that's a different video. Here on the rings, you aim to get that crit hit chance maxed out, both at 6%. On the, yeah, he had a pair of Nemesis braces on before, which had all res in place of the critical hit chance. So I told him to roll the all res to the critical hit chance when he does wear the Nemesis braces. So I've also just given him the quiver that dropped. I believe it had life percentage, which I told him to roll to multi-shot damage, which he should also get 15%. I mean, I know it's hard for beginners to think, oh, there's a roll there for 11, so I'll just stick with that. But to be perfectly honest, it doesn't take much to actually farm the materials and gold, especially when you've got like shed loads of puzzle ring to go through. You know, if you need gold, that isn't a problem. If you need gems, that wouldn't be a problem with all these rings. And the gold, obviously. Also, what I would like to point out is that when you're farming, when you're just doing general rifts, I'll show you my build here that I've got for farming. Now, this is old hat. I mean, this farming build is all variations of classes, but basically your main items would be Boom of the Hoarder, gem, which is there. It's maxed out at 50. You get a speed boost, sorry, and it enables any enemies that you kill have an explosion of gold. The gold drop, basically, it picks up, well, it doesn't, but when you pick up the gold, you gain armor, and your toughness will just like go. You know, if you picked up a hell of a lot of gold, it can go like millions. It can go 100 millions. So anything that hits you just does not touch you. It doesn't kill you at all. So that's the second item. The third item is the Nemesis braces. So when you're doing the speed clears on the normal rifts, so you're just farming your gold, farming your death's preps and all sorts. You want to have a pair of these, and again, make sure you got the fire applicative damage and the critical hit chance. And the secondary res, it can be a resistance res, or it can be, as you can see there, reduced damages from melee attacks, which is handy. And the last thing that you do absolutely need for a speed farming gold build is the avarice band in the cube. Each time you pick up gold, increases the golden health pickup radius by 1 yard for 10 seconds, stacking up to 30 times. Right, you can imagine if I'm running through a normal rift, it would just suck up all the health globes. Plus, coupled with your gold drop and the Boon of the Hoarder, the amount of gold that drops in the first instance is like 100-fold, and plus you get that armor boost and a speed movement boost as well. So it's absolutely a must-have in the cube. I would say this is what makes the thing so profitable and easy to farm. So going back to the where am I? The multi-shot, is it this one here? Yeah. As you can see, when you have an ancient, it's important to put the despair, your gems, basically. So say if you can solo a greater rift at say 65 without any problems, get all your gems to level 65 or level 75, whatever you deem to be easy, effective and quick. In the outset, on the outset of doing that, you know, it's really worthwhile, because as you can see here, I've got rank 70 on all my gear, yeah, for this particular build. I didn't want to do it any more than that, because I know that multi-shot has its limitations for my Paragon. You know, I'd need to be a lot higher or a lot better weapon or whatever to actually do well on the higher greater reps. But anyway, that being said, what you need to be doing is whatever greater rep you can comfortably farm, solo farming, and this is the important bit. Don't rely on others to level up your gems. Only rely on others to level up your gems in the higher greater reps. So when you're in the group of 4 or 2 or whatever, So that's when you work on your wearable legendary gems. That's where you try and pick these up. So if you're doing 100, then you see what the chance rolls is on that. Or if you got a 90 here, you just level that up a little bit before you augment it. But for starters, try and get, when soloing, something that you know you can do quite fast and you can farm it without fear of dying. Okay? So if that's a level 65, you're going to get all your gems to a 55. And also empower the Greater Rift itself. So you know, just ensure you don't die. Okay? That's all I'll say. When you're empowering a Great Rift, don't die, because you lose that extra roll that you would have normally had. So as soon as you get your gems up to a point, just take your, in this case it would be dexterity and the gem itself, yeah, you run to the cube, yeah, and you just throw them in with the item and you just transmute. I won't do it because it's not worth it. That's all I'll say to try and help you out at the moment. This is for my friend of mine who's currently playing. I hope it helps. Talk to you soon.